watching one of those ghost shows. They're amusing, they're entertaining, but I hate it when they just out and out blatantly lie to you. And just assume that you're too fucking stupid to know that they're just making shit up. They're in Memphis at the U.S. Marine Hospital, not Marine Corps, but Marine as in boats. Started to uh, treat boatmen injured in wrecks and boiler explosions on the Mississippi, and it was built in 1884. They told us on the show the hospital was built in 1884. Immediately following that, then they say that uh, thousands and thousands of Civil War soldiers were treated in the hospital uh, during the Civil War, which ended in 1865, I'm pretty sure. So, how do people in 1865 get treated in a hospital that isn't built until 1884? They don't really cover that. But they're talking to a ghost named Henry, who was a Civil War soldier at the hospital, apparently. And he liked playing cards and smoking cigarettes. So they set up a card game and actually lit a cigarette for him and brought him some whiskey because everyone knows that ghosts smoke a lot of cigarettes and drink whiskey all the time. And not ghost cigarettes or ghost whiskey, but like actual whiskey. That's where it all goes. It's not the rednecks drinking it, it's the ghosts coming in and drinking all their whiskey. They also claim that there's cages. They show some cages uh, in the building, but supposedly that's where the yellow fever patients were locked up during the yellow fever epidemic so that it wouldn't spread the disease. And they were left there to die in these cages. And there was at least 40,000 of them, of these yellow fever victims in Memphis that were left to die in this hospital in these cages. But the yellow fever epidemic in Memphis happened in 1873. Hospital wasn't built till 1884. It had nothing to do with yellow fever. Plus, I checked, um, and in Memphis in 1873, only 2,000 people died. So I don't know why it keeps saying that 40,000 people were locked up in these cages in a hospital that didn't exist at the time and left to die. Like being entertained, don't like being blatantly lied to. They just assume that we're too stupid to, Google it on our phones. Civil War, really? 1865, being treated in a hospital for Mississippi boatmen, 1884. I know medical care was bad back then, not great now. But I don't think people were waiting around 20 years to get treated. Oh, you got shot in the leg? We'll just wait here for 20 years while we build a hospital to treat you. I don't think it was quite that bad. And they kept saying how we have to do this fast because they're going to tear down the hospital. I guess once they tear down the building, it lets all the ghosts out or something because they seem real concerned about that point. Because this was the ghost's last chance to communicate because the building's being torn down. Now, if that's the case, then the ghost probably would have gotten out when the original building was torn down in 1936 and replaced with the current building. So, if the big rush is that, the ghosts are going to get out when the building gets knocked down, so we have to hurry, talk to them now, you missed your chance by what, like 80 years when the original building was knocked down and replaced with a new one. So yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Um, I don't like that. I don't like being blatantly lied to. If you're gonna entertain me, great, but don't try and change when the Civil War happened um, to fit to your story. History is history. It's and granted, a lot of history is bullshit because it's written by the victors. But it's easily authenticated when the Civil War ended. Part of our own nation history and is well documented. There's no real question in the history books as to when the Civil War ended. So, trying to say that a hospital that was built 20 years after that is being haunted by the Civil War people who were treated there, that just pisses me off. I hate that shit. Anyway, that's today's rant.